into it, let me know. Tell me a bit about, very curious to hear about, your ad experience, and also, what specific niches or that you're specialized in, and then maybe we can go from there.
All right. Okay. I think I sent you a message in Messenger indicating that if you could acquire a reference from Yilin Luke, do you happen to know her?
Yeah, I know Yulin. Yes.
Yeah, and how I operate in general, everything about Facebook advertisement for her ad account and for her clients. And but yeah, as a start, I've been working with e-commerce clients for the past 4 years. It's just that I transitioned into lead generations when I onboarded when Newlin took me into her agency and took me as a media buyer for her clients, local health practitioners.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, in Australia, like doctors. So I have here a list of some of our accounts that were are handling, like SkinFit Pro and Lumia Aesthetics and Dr. Vane. So these are the accounts. These are the clients that we are helping in terms of generating leads. And
Mm-hmm.
yeah, there's just an unfortunate event when the lockdown hit. Some of our accounts um, got got also uh, follow the campaigns. So we paused some of the campaigns, but some of our other accounts like Restore Aesthetics,
Mm-hmm.
they're still we're still giving them good amount of leads. Like they're consistently making 50K per month, just targeting local customers in Australia, like particularly in women. And our main region that we're targeting is Victoria. This is the region that really gives us a good amount of leads, quality leads, as well for Dr. Vane, Lumia Aesthetics, Form A. So these are the doctors that we are helping. So yeah, it was a good run. It was a good experience, a good journey with DLN. Like we do weekly calls, weekly meetings, over an hour or 30 minutes tops. And yeah, just
So
at this
you're saying that, just so sorry to cut you off, but just wanted to understand. So you're saying that you do specialize in, lead gen in the medical industry. Is that like what you were doing before
that is
or
correct.
are doing?
Yes,
Yeah, and then part of the thing that you do is obviously, the ad buying, and also joining client calls, it seems.
that's correct. Yes.
Okay. And then you, like, typically speaking, when you go into your account, like, say, you get a new client, what are the first things that you top three things that you notice would be key to the success of the lead generation campaign?
Oh yeah, that would be that would be the creative side. Like for over 2 weeks, we're getting good amount of leads. That would be a good indication that the campaign is success. And also for um, yeah, for if the client would have a funnel, and then there's no broken links or and all that, that really affects the you know the performance of the campaign. That would be
Mm-hmm.
a good indication as well. It's just that everything will be, as long as everything is organized and laid out properly, um, we will be able to determine if the campaign will be a good success. And yeah, that would be for the CRO side. But if the client only have a go ahead level involved, like also in a meta chat, and yeah, that, we could still uh, optimize the campaign and generate a good amount of leads for that client. And I,
Okay. So I agree with you. Like, usually, typically speaking, if the client doesn't have, I mean, if we need obviously good creatives, and then making sure that we address every single step of the funnel, including for me the landing pages, even what happens when they lead to the page, abandoned cart situations and stuff. So um, all of that. So if a client, let's say, doesn't have some of the let's say for example, they have a terrible website. What have you ever come across a situation like that?
Uh, yeah, as long as the funnel makes sense. Although the VSL, they have VSL, they have webinars, or they provide value contents. Although the website and the graphics isn't really that eye-catching or good in terms of the whole graphics and everything and all
Mhm.
that. As long as there is a value and the customer and or the audience will be able to grasp the value and be able to understand what the whole um, goal for the brand, I think that would not be a hindrance or a bottleneck to still provide a good performance in terms of getting quality leads. But yeah, overall, I think CRO funnel is really a good practice or a good formula to really get a good amount of leads. And yeah, we've been practicing that in the agency of Lynn, and we've become advocate also for that kind of factor that really matters most in terms of the lead side. And yeah, I think that's a whole gist of getting good amount of quality leads.
Okay, so when you're working with an agency, what is the structure like? It seems that you're I'm assuming you are in charge of ad buying, and I'm sure Eileen is she's in the that she does she does the account facing often, or she's the senior ad buyer. Who else is involved in the process in the agency?
Yeah, we have graphic designers, we have video editors, and
Uh-huh.
she does the project management, like the whole Slack thing. Like she also talks with the client, but majority of
Mhm.
the time, yeah, she is on the client side, and I never get into the talk with the client, but I'm capable of doing that. And
Mhm.
but at my end, um, the pain that the solution that I'm getting off in terms of the gap and the pain for the agency is just I'm just fulfilling the services in terms of generating leads and completing all the tasks, like marking the task on there's no due dates in terms of the task. I completed all the tasks and on a weekly basis. And yeah, the gap that I'm fulfilling is that the campaigns and the leads are on par with Yulin's expectations. And yeah, she make a remark that I'm good at optimizations and all that. It's just that I think she's kind of running quite low in ad account. That it wouldn't make sense for for me to be part of the agency. And she mentioned though that we're quite big, and I did a quick research that yeah, we're indeed big in the industry in terms of specifically in the blogging side. And yeah, I take this as a big opportunity. And yeah,
Okay. Um. So, I'm just wondering, like, we are looking for full time team members, but of course, generally speaking, I tend to also offer people that I think have some potential project based work first to see if we work well together before thinking of more before offering more full time opportunities. And usually works out for both parties, so you can actually feel comfortable working with us before committing. So, having said that, in general, if we were to work on, let's say, a per client basis, do you have typical fee structures or expectations that you are able to share with me?
yeah, it really depends on the ad spend. If the client, so most of our clients does only 1,500 to 2,000, and for that I charge roughly uh, $300, and for that arrangement, that's roughly what I'm charging in terms of price and in terms of
Mm-hmm.
salary.
Okay, so you're saying like under $2,000, your fee is about $300.
Yes, per
And then
month.
how much time do you typically spend on this account per month on average? Just wondering.
I could spend like 20 hours per week for
Sorry,
20 hours per week.
3 hours per week.
20
Okay,
20
and then
hours, 15 to 20 hours. Yeah, on top
per month
per month. Yeah, yeah,
per account. Okay, sorry.
yeah. Depending on the workloads, like Yulin keeps on augmenting and revamping the campaigns. Like I could say to her that during our onboarding, we made it per hour, but then I noticed that to the best of it, we go for retainer rates since it would really make sense to go for retainer rates. And
I don't really I hourly rates are okay. I feel for like things that are straightforward, like do this graphic stuff. But in general, for ad buyers, I really prefer to go for a retainer rate because then you don't have to worrying about your hours, and I don't have to worry about how many hours you're spending. Because for me, if you know what you're doing, you typically know how many hours you should typically spend, right?
right,
And
that's true.
then we have the goals, and then we focus on the goals. Like I'm not too fixated on hours because from my experience working with a lot of ad buyers, some people can do a lot in 2 hours, and some people you've done 10 hours and nothing has happened. So that there again, why I really don't like hourly rates for long term projects, because it's just a mess, and it's very there's very few times that both parties are always very happy without admins asking you why do you charge these hours or what happened, and all of that I think is kind of unnecessary. So that's fine. And then I just want to also ask, in terms of like your work scope, your let's pretend we pay the retainer that is asked for. Your job is basically the ad buying side. Like what about the strategy for the creatives, not the designing, but like the strategy for the creatives, or the strategy for the offer, like are you involved in that, or is that something that the client, or the account facing person is more involved in?
Um, in our case, with uh, with Yulin's agency, I,
Mm-hmm.
I get involved with that strategy and offer, and I get to decide which offer is great for this particular season. Like, say for the Black Friday, so I get to get involved with decisions in terms of the strategy of how the offer flows, the discounts, and yeah. So I get to get involved with all that in terms of the psychology of the marketing within
Okay.
the ad campaign.
Okay. Okay. That's good, because we want someone, if possible, who is able to also give input, because the a couple of person that we work with that did not work out was like they had like almost zero input into the ad strategy. And of course, the team collectively would come up with strategies or campaign offers, but the ad buyers is expected to have some insight and not just become like to me, a very junior level person that literally is just doing ad buying and doesn't say anything about the creatives at all. So okay. And then what are your working hours typically?
So Australia time is 2 hours ahead, right? So it's 3 a.m. my time.
Hello?
Hello.
Ed?
So hello, can you hear me?
You're kind of going in and out. So can you repeat that, please?
Okay, I'm sorry. So Australia is 2 hours ahead, and the Philippines from the Philippines. So it's 3 a.m. 3 a.m. in our time, right?
I'm so sorry, Ed. I can't hear you, but just tell me, like, what your work hours, during Philippines time.
Um, it's 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. in the afternoon.
Okay, that's fine. 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. Okay, so that's fine as well. We have team members in the Philippines, but what we're looking for is someone who actually can also, not all the time, but if needed, be available during U.S. work hours, just in case there are technical client meetings, which doesn't happen often, but it could happen, 3 or 4 times a month, where the client either wants to talk, and of course, that requires, typically, I would say, um, either early morning Philippines time, or very very late evening. Is that something that you are able to do?
Yes, I'm very much flexible. It's just that I'm really looking for a long
Okay,
term.
okay, that's fine. Yeah, we are looking for someone long term too, for sure. Like, we are at that point where there's very few people that, if we work well together, we don't offer something long term, because it's just the way our company is going. It doesn't also work if we don't have long term relationships. So yeah, what I would do is I would offer you one project first, with a client. I'll talk to the team which clients it is, and then we'll see how we work well there. We're very happy to pay your retainer rate. In fact, I'll do you better. Instead of giving you $300 per account, we'll start you off with $400. And this is only for the first month. And if you do it well, I'm very happy to not either increase your retainer rate, or offer you something more full time. We have dozens of clients, so it's something that we are, really looking forward to have all more team members on our team. The only reason that I've been hesitant is that we've had team members who, come in, and then they, for whatever reason, they either underperform, or they miss deadlines, or they don't communicate. And we're very flexible over here. When I say miss deadlines, I don't mean that, you have to give something by 9 a.m. sharp on the day, etc., all the time, 100%. What I mean is, very often, if even if you cannot meet the deadline, which happens, all we want is communication. For example, let's say you promise you'll go look over the client stuff and hand it to me by 9 a.m. Monday morning. And if you can't, I'm sure, like, you already know by that weekend, or even 2 days before, like on Thursday, you can't meet a deadline. You have to tell us, so that we know what to do. Like, the worst thing is that, team members are waiting, because there's multiple team members. There's creatives, there's the strategist, there's even maybe the client side person, 4 or 5 people, holding off, because they're waiting on this one thing, and then it doesn't happen. It just wastes everybody's time. And so that's when it doesn't work, because people are from all over the world. We have team members from the Philippines, we have team members from the US and Canada, we have team members even from Europe. So if people are not mindful of deadlines and communication, working with people all over the world, that doesn't work as well. And we typically have very happy clients. So again, it's the stress is, there's no real, everyone who works here who is, professional, and just make sure they are, they do what they say they would, won't have a problem. It's only, typically speaking, like, when we onboard a new person, like during that first month, like, people who usually are not that would find it difficult to work here, because everyone here is very mindful of deadlines. So that's the only thing that we're really testing for. The other stuff, we're pretty a pretty understanding bunch. So that's really my plan, like just to kind of help anyone that we think could be a good fit to kind of test out for an account first. And then if the most, number one thing we're looking for is culture fit. I do believe, if Yilin recommends you and you seem that you're able to do well with her, I don't, I feel like I'm not worried about that. And even if you're, have some areas that we think we can improve, there's always training and skills, that we can develop. We have many ad buyers. Some of them are seniors. So again, it's not something I'm completely worried about, as long as you're willing to learn and improve with, obviously, all the stuff that's happening within the ad world. So that part, I'm actually hardly concerned about. Is really truly the being proactive and the communication. Like, we had to let go of, I've mentioned, um a partner agency that we work with. They handle 7 of our accounts, and we gave them notice because, you know things were not handled. For example, this is the one thing that kind of broke it for me. There were 3 campaigns going on for this client, and they shut off 2 campaigns without telling us. And it was a big deal because this client relies on these leads, right? So if you shut down campaigns, why wouldn't you tell me? You just let it go. We found out a week later, just by randomly going to the ad account and looking, we found out. So I, we don't like things like that. And then the other thing that happened is the cost per lead got to $200 per lead, when previously, when we were managing it, it was about $40 per lead. And the whole goal was to get from $40 per lead to $20 per lead. So suddenly it's $200 per lead, and they didn't even notice that until 3 weeks later. And that's thousands of dollars going down. So all this stuff is making us, you know th- those are my deal breakers. Like, we don't mind people needing to learn or having mistakes and stuff, as long as you communicate and you are responsible. For me, letting, the CPL go from $20 to $200 in a month and not alerting the team, that's to me is irresponsible with the client's money. I hope what I'm saying is making sense.
Yeah, totally makes sense. And totally understandable.
Okay, so I'm gonna go back to the team. You give me about 1 or 2 days to kind of come up with a formal letter of offer for a project basis, and then take a look at it. Of course, I'm sure once you see the letter of offer, if you have any questions, feel free to let her know. But that's really the next steps.
All right. Yep, I'm kind of looking
You
forward.
do you have any questions for me?
I think I love hearing all the details and the transparency and being straightforward. And that's something that I'm really also keen and into much of the details. And yeah, I think I'll be able to adapt the culture and the core values of your agency.
Yeah. Oh, and I want one more question. Like, are you also open to explore lead generation in other industries? For example, you're doing, medical spas and
Yep.
plastic surgeons. Are you happy to look at, let's say, dentists or similar industries?
Yes. So this is a segue of our industry. Like we're doing doctors, we're doing varicose veins doctors as well. So it's still doctor, but we're doing real estate and yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So everything about
Okay.
involved, like home constructions, I can do that.
Okay, no problem, Ed. So I will, yeah, one of my team members would reach out to you. And of course, if you have any questions about, the agreements or the offer, feel free to let us know.
All right. Thank you.
All
Thank you
right.
very
Thank you.
much.
Talk
All
to you
right.
later. Bye.
Bye.